Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in the small border town of Braunau am Inn, in what was then Austria-Hungary. His early life gave little indication of the catastrophe that would later follow his name. He was the fourth of 6 children. Only he and his younger sister survived into adulthood. His father was a strict civil servant. His mother was gentle, protective, and deeply influential in shaping his emotional world. Hitler's childhood was marked by frequent moves and constant tension at home. His father demanded obedience and discipline. Young Adolf resisted authority and struggled in school. He showed early interest in drawing, painting, and architecture. He dreamed of becoming an artist. He believed this was his destiny. This belief would later turn into bitterness when reality did not match his expectations. After his father's death, Hitler became even more dependent on his mother. When she died in 1907, he was devastated. Her death left him isolated and without emotional support. Soon after, he moved to Vienna, hoping to study art. Twice he failed the entrance exams to the Academy of Fine Arts. The rejection crushed him. He blamed others rather than himself. This pattern would define his future behavior. In Vienna, Hitler lived in poverty. He stayed in shelters. He sold small paintings to survive. The city exposed him to intense political radicalism. Nationalist rhetoric, racial theories, and conspiracy thinking were widespread. Hitler absorbed these ideas. He began to believe that society was divided between the strong and the weak. He convinced himself that Germany had enemies within and without. These beliefs hardened into obsession. When the First World War began in 1914, Hitler volunteered for the German army. The war gave him structure, purpose, and identity. He served as a messenger on the Western Front. He witnessed constant death, destruction, and fear. He was wounded twice and temporarily blinded by gas. He received medals for bravery. For him, the war became the most meaningful period of his life. Germany's defeat in 1918 shattered him. He felt betrayed and humiliated. Like many veterans, he believed the nation had been stabbed in the back. The new democratic government seemed weak and illegitimate to him. He blamed politicians, intellectuals, and minorities for the loss. His anger grew deeper. His sense of personal failure merged with national defeat. After the war, Germany was in chaos. Inflation, unemployment, and political violence dominated everyday life. Hitler remained in Munich and became involved in political groups. He joined a small nationalist party that later became the National Socialist German Workers' Party. His talent for speaking quickly became obvious. He spoke with rage, certainty, and simple slogans. Crowds listened. Many believed him. Hitler's speeches focused on humiliation, revenge, and rebirth. He promised to restore pride and strength. He offered enemies to blame. He portrayed himself as a man chosen by fate. Over time, his influence inside the party grew. He demanded loyalty and absolute obedience. Those around him either submitted or left. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power by force in Munich. The coup failed. Several people were killed. Hitler was arrested and put on trial. The trial turned into a stage for his propaganda. He used it to spread his ideas. He was sentenced to prison but served less than a year. During his imprisonment, Hitler dictated a book outlining his worldview. It presented his beliefs about race, leadership, and destiny. The book was poorly written but ideologically clear. He described a future of expansion, purification, and domination. After his release, he changed strategy. He decided that power would be taken legally, then never surrendered. The late 1920s brought economic collapse. The Great Depression destroyed what little stability Germany had regained. Millions lost their jobs. Despair spread across society. Hitler exploited this crisis. His party promised work, order, and national revival. Support grew rapidly. Elections brought the Nazis closer to power. In 1933, Hitler was appointed chancellor. Many believed they could control him. They were wrong. Within months, he dismantled democracy. Political opponents were arrested. Free press was destroyed. Trade unions were abolished. Germany became a one-party state. Fear replaced law. Hitler centralized all authority around himself. He demanded loyalty not to institutions, but to his person. The state became an extension of his will. Propaganda filled every aspect of life. Children were taught to worship him. Critics disappeared. Violence became normalized. Economic recovery followed, driven by massive state projects and rearmament. Roads were built. Factories expanded. Unemployment fell. Many Germans credited Hitler. They ignored the cost. They ignored the terror. Success strengthened his image as a savior. At the same time, persecution intensified. Jews were stripped of rights. Laws excluded them from society. Violence escalated from discrimination to organized terror. Other groups were also targeted. Political dissidents, disabled individuals, and minorities were declared enemies of the state. Hitler's foreign ambitions soon became clear. He rejected international agreements. He rebuilt the army. He annexed neighboring territories. Each success increased his confidence. Each concession from other nations convinced him that force would go unchallenged. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This act triggered the Second World War. Hitler believed in rapid conquest. Early victories seemed to prove him right. Much of Europe fell under German control. His power reached its peak. Behind the front lines, atrocities expanded. Occupied territories were ruled through terror. Mass murder became systematic. Camps were built. Millions were deported and killed. The violence was industrialized. The ideology of destruction became reality. As the war continued, Hitler made fatal decisions. He ignored military advice. He underestimated enemies. He opened multiple fronts. His belief in destiny replaced strategy. Losses mounted. Cities burned. Soldiers died by the millions. By 1943, Germany was losing. Allied forces advanced from all sides. Bombing destroyed German cities. Yet Hitler refused compromise. He demanded total war. He sacrificed civilians and soldiers alike. Loyalty mattered more than survival. In the final months, Germany collapsed. Hitler retreated into underground bunkers. He blamed generals. He blamed betrayal. He never accepted responsibility. He remained convinced that history would justify him. In April 1945, with Berlin surrounded, Hitler took his own life. His regime ended in ruins. Europe lay devastated. Tens of millions were dead. His vision had brought only destruction. Hitler's legacy is one of catastrophe. He demonstrated how ideology, fear, and unchecked power can destroy entire civilizations. His rise was not inevitable. It was enabled by weakness, hatred, and silence. His story remains a warning. It shows how easily democracy can collapse and how devastating the consequences can be when a society chooses anger over humanity.